We have to.
Let me make sure that I understand you correctly. You're not saying that you would have gone with the story that first day if you'd been able to absolutely ascertain for sure everything that you... I mean, you made a deliberate decision to stay away from the story, not because you couldn't get the story.
Well, we came back in the following days and dealt with it from the points of view that we felt were appropriate to deal with for kids in the classroom. It wasn't the violent imagery that we felt they needed to see, but to hear discussions about dealing with grief, to deal with some of the issues that as young people they needed to think about in terms of respect for one another. You know, this whole idea of dissing has become kind of culturally acceptable for our adolescent audience, and that seemed to be an important thing to talk about because it seemed to be an ingredient in what had happened at Columbine. So we try and find some lessons in it.
Well, Casey, was that sort of restraint, that is, not covering the story, that first day in Littleton, was that even an option for CNN?
Not an option at the scale of what happened in Littleton. This was a story, an exceptional peak of an exceptional type of situation in crime that's affecting every living room in the United States, virtually every living room. Parents, grandparents, it landed quite close to a lot of homes in this country.
Deborah Potter, did you get any calls today from any of your clients? And what'd you tell them if you did?
Well, no, not directly. And what I would have told them is, I wished you'd thought about it before today. I think one of the things that needs to happen in newsrooms is conversations have to take place about how you cover an incident like this. We hope this never happens again, but there are plenty of other kinds of incidents that do happen that cause concern in newsrooms. And people have to have policies. They have to make decisions. I mean, it's an editorial decision to go wall to wall with something, just as it's an editorial decision for the people at Channel 1 to cover the story lightly or to bury the story into the newscast and not make it a big lead. Those are decisions we make every day, and it seems to me there needs to be some discussion ahead of time to decide how you're going to handle it. It's not, as you said earlier, it's not whether to cover this story. It's going to be covered. It's how will it be covered? What kinds of images will be put on the air? Who will we speak to? How will we treat the people who are accused of these crimes? How will we treat the victims? These are decisions that have to be made in advance.
And all of those are excellent questions. We'll put some of them back to you and to our other guests in a moment. We've got to take a short break. We'll be back in a moment.
There's a boy outside, his name is Jim. He wants to know if I can play with him. Dance with him. Daddy, can I?
Visa Platinum. Exceptional credit limit, Visa acceptance for purchase power.
Daddy?
You can really use.
Hey, Dad, what are you doing up?
Reliving your mother's stuffed peppers.
Heartburn again, huh? What are you taking?
Tums, and I'm back for more.
You still taking that stuff? Look, Dad, take a Pepsid AC. One tiny pill controls acid all night.
So I can get some sleep.
Next time, take one before dinner, and you can stop heartburn before it starts.
Before it starts?
You don't see me suffering, do you?
What are you guys doing now?
Nothing, dear. We were talking about your peppers.
Peppers, yeah.
I have some in the fridge.
You can sleep heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Looks like Taz just got his AT&T phone bill. Taz, don't you make a lot of calls on Sunday?
Yeah, Taz call.
Then use NCI 5 cent Sundays. It's just 5 cents a minute every Sunday. AT&T charges 3 times as much. Taz, let's call 1-800-SUNDAY. Become an MCI customer.
Yeah.
Imagine TV. When spring rolled around, some of the men would use their gold to purchase items that helped make life here in the camp more comfortable. There was Caleb in his soft leather boots, old Harvey in his goose-down cushioned chair, and of course Zeke in his new Mercury Grand Marquis.
Coming up, Michael Moore and unemployment.
In France, the unemployed this year went on strike. I don't know how you even do that.
Politically incorrect with Bill Maher from London.
There are a lot of used cars to choose from. But Honda certified used cars come with a factory warranty and have passed a rigorous 150-point inspection. So you'll almost never find a Honda put out to pasture. Now get special 5.9% APR financing for up to 60 months on all Honda certified used Accords and Civics.
And we're back with Earl Casey, Andy Hill, and Deborah Potter. Deborah, it's really not fair to pose all of these questions to to different people in this industry. For example, if you say to me, you know, Ted, is Nightline going to go wall to wall? Of course not. We're on for half an hour every night. Is ABC News going to go wall to wall? Of course not. ABC News, you know, except in the event of a national emergency, has other programming. Put that question to Earl Casey, it's a much tougher question. So you can't be asking everyone the same question.
But I am asking everyone to think about it and to think about how they'll handle it. For example, with the networking that exists now, local stations all over the country have an opportunity to pick up the signal of a local station elsewhere if it's carried on one of the cable channels like MSNBC or CNN, which is exactly what happened during the Columbine situation. So you had local stations all over the country carrying those signals. You know, it was just multiplying everywhere. And what happens in those situations is people are essentially abdicating decision-making. They're saying, we're just going to put on the air whatever comes in over the feed. And that's not, I think, the best way to make editorial decisions.
Earl Casey, what happened on CNN this morning? This story broke, what, shortly after 8?
Yes, about 8:30 is when we began mobilizing our people. We did air and carefully aired the coverage of our local affiliates in Atlanta. 4 stations in Atlanta are affiliates of CNN, and we selected among their coverage. And we had volumes of reporters on the phone and moving to the site to try and glean what accurate information, and being very careful with that information, the choice of words, being certain of facts before they're aired, and blending that together into an overall report very much in the control of our network, not abdicated to others.
Let me just say again, because I think it's only fair to you to say it, that the pressures on CNN, which is on the air 24 hours a day with news, are far greater in an instance like this than they are on my colleagues and me at a network like ABC. But did you ever consider this morning maybe not going wall to wall with this, maybe, you know, waiting for 15 minutes and then putting on 5 minutes worth and then doing another 15 minutes worth of other news?
I think the primary answer is, what do you do when you do go to air, and how do you act responsibly within that time period? What decisions were made in the various control rooms of the 7 networks that are the CNN network are being made by responsible journalists, and they're trying to make the best calls that they can. The primary thing that we're trying to do is be accurate, responsible, careful, watch not only the oral message but the visual message that we're sending out to the public.
Andy Hill, when we talk about what Channel 1 did today, what did you put out to the schools today? And again, you're not on cover to cover, you're just on, what, half an hour a day?
We're on 12 minutes a day, and actually our show is satellited out at 3 in the morning, so we have not even covered this story yet.
It will be
covered tomorrow.
Makes it real easy. What are you going to do tomorrow?
Well, it still doesn't make it easy. It's still very difficult, and in fact, our choice has been to not cover this story tomorrow. As a result of conversations, once again, we had with our educator constituents who asked us, please, because of their tremendous concern about copycats on the heels of Columbine, to not go to this story as a breaking story. I'm sure that in the next day or two we will come back and try and find the thread between Columbine and this incident and give young people some idea of something they can do with that information. For example, we very heavily covered after Columbine the need for young people to break confidence if one of their peers has threatened to hurt themselves or others, because young people do have kind of a code of silence. But we need to find messages that we can give them that are positive, that are not based in kind of violent images or giving 15 minutes of fame to perpetrators.
Deborah, part of what I'm hearing here is it depends on who your constituency is out there.
Imagine that, journalists actually considering the audience. I mean, I think that's something that for a long time hasn't really been discussed, but it's becoming an important issue in newsrooms. Who's in the audience? What effect will this have on them? These are good questions to ask, and I don't object to it. It does concern me a little bit that not reporting it at all is one of the choices.
Boy, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, when we talk about the constituency here, who more than a group of high school students tomorrow ought to be getting some sort of reasonable news coverage on what it was that happened down there in Georgia today?
And my guess is there's been time to provide reasonable news coverage. It will have been, almost 24 hours. It doesn't mean you have to put on those violent images or that you have to repeat some of the material that went out over the air today, but it seems to me it needs to be on the air. It needs to be in there.
Let me just ask each of you, because we're almost out of time, and don't talk about your own operation, just talk about the industry in general. Do you think, Earl, that there has been any improvement over the past few months, couple of years?
Absolutely. In fact, I think the Jonesboro, Arkansas school shootings were a signal moment. The Freedom Forum presented a report out of that. RTNDA did also. It went to newsrooms, networks all over the United States. We learned from it. We learned from Littleton. We applied those lessons in each one of these cases, and the discussions are rampant. Our newsroom back here is full of parents and grandparents. They feel this, they talk about it, not only in their professional lives, but their personal lives, and I know it's that way in all the newsrooms, too.
Andy, things are better in general, worse in general?
Ultimately, I think that for all of us in this business, we have to think about the potential consequences of reporting the stories that we do, and if, in fact, this copycat issue is one that we have to deal with all the time, I think it's a tough balancing act, and we will come back and cover this story in the days to come, but our decision to not do it, I think, is the right one.
Deborah, you get the last word.
Well, I think there has been, in fact, tremendous change and great improvements. Unfortunately, they come based on the last mistake. I don't think we'll see cell phone calls on the air in a hostage situation again. I hope we won't.
As we did in Littleton.
As we did in Littleton. News organizations learn from those kinds of mistakes, but they are incremental, and I still think we have a long way to go before most news organizations have any kind of policy in place. I talked to a news director when Columbine was happening who had been through Jonesboro, and I said to him, do you have a policy for dealing with this now? And he said, well, it's sort of in my head. I've been thinking maybe I should write it down. And I think that's where it is in a lot of newsrooms still today. But there is a realization that our credibility is at stake here. And so I think the good news is there's a lot of talk going on and a lot of improvement.
Deborah Potta, Andy Hill, Earl Casey, thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll be back with a program note.
We help make lives more memorable. We help people love one another. We help keep families strong. We're the people of Pfizer. We develop medicines that make the world a better place. We spend over $2 billion a year on research. That's why we believe we'll introduce more new medicines for more diseases than anyone else. We're not just looking for cures. We're going to find them. Pfizer. Life is our life's work.
What if you could treat wrinkles like an expert would? Introducing Rock, the #1 anti-wrinkle cream in France. Developed with dermatologists, this pure and active form of vitamin A works deeper, inside skin's surface. In a 12-week study, the appearance of fine lines was reduced by 86%, wrinkles by 42%. Something more superficial beauty treatments could never promise. Rock, we keep our promises.
This is an original chrome door handle for a 56 Corvette. Very, very rare. I get maybe one call a year for this item. So why do I stock it? So that some guy named Bert in Texas can open the door to the car of his dreams and make up for lost time.
Yeah! Fort Lauderdale, here we come!
My name's Joe. I sell smiles. Come find me!
You will at superpages.com from GTE, the #1 online yellow pages. Shop on.
Maybe it's the attention I get, thanks to one professor for every 15 students. Maybe it's that I'm inspired because 95% of my professors hold doctorates. Maybe it's that I'm challenged with nationally recognized programs in liberal arts and sciences and teacher education. Maybe I'm just happy because I fit in so well here. Whatever. There's a lot to smile about.
Right now, your Lincoln Mercury dealer's got the ultimate ride at the Adventure Center. Whether you're talking 2 wheels or 4, buy or lease a rugged 1999 Mercury Mountaineer, and you'll get a Fuji bicycle and Yakima bike rack. Mountaineer, the premium SUV, gives you a choice of V6 or V8 power, available all-wheel drive, and available leather seating surfaces. And for a limited time, you'll get 0.9% APR financing that can save you over $3,500. Catch the ultimate ride in the Adventure Center at your Lincoln Mercury dealer.
Tomorrow, a special 2020. Diane Sawyer reports on guns in the home. Parents are convinced their 6 to 10-year-old kids can't find them. The kids prove them wrong. That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
Nightline is always on with abcnews.com, now part of the Go Network. If you'd like a transcript or video cassette of this or any other edition of Nightline, please dial 1-800-CALL-ABC.
Nightline has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. abcnews.com, now a part of the Go Network. Tomorrow, a TV newscast with a conscience. But is it religious bias? Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Everybody grab it out there. Nobody tackle. Grab. Nobody tackle.
Sports Century Greatest Coaches, Saturday at 2 on ABC.
Something